Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso at thewatchbox.com, your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on our channel or our website. Reach out to me directly, tmosso at thewatchbox.com. Today, we are discussing the Zenith Chronomaster El Primero Open. 42 millimeters in stainless steel gives you 90% of the fun of a tourbillon at 10% of the price. This is a traditional automatic winding El Primero that's 42 millimeters in diameter by 13.2 millimeters thick, 50.8 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, and 21 millimeters between the lugs. Throw it on my 16 centimeter circumference oval-shaped wrist. There's your over-the-top shot. There's your cuff shot. It is actually surprisingly amenable to a dress or tight shirt sleeve. And then here's your down the barrel. You can see that there's a little bit of clearance on each side of my wrist, but I probably wouldn't recommend this case size or shape for a wrist smaller than 15 centimeters circumference. Now taking a look at the hardware and the software, you have black, large rectangular scale alligator leather. It's a semi-gloss. You'll appreciate that there's a folded edge, a monotone black stitch. There is some stuffing, so it's bolstered to give it volume and body. And then on the underside, as Zenith does these days, there is a lovely vulcanized rubber inlay that protects the leather from the moisture, heat, sweat, and grit of the wrist, and it also feels spectacular. Zenith includes a double deployant trigger-actuated folding clasp, so you press the two triggers, you pop it open. It's a double fold, which I find is often better for a smaller wrist than a single fold, as it's less likely to pinch. It doesn't have that one huge up and over of a single fold. Because of the trigger actuation, this one can't pop open accidentally, and you can see it uses a combination of satin and polish for nuance. You'll also note that the profile features a little bit of a bevel and a curvature that is evocative of the actual shape and finish of the lug, so there's nice design parallelism there. The case band slopes inward a little bit. It slopes side to side and then tapers inward to integrated lugs. You can see there's no separate set-apart form for the lugs. They blend into the case curvature. There's a little bit of a beveling on their flank and satin finish on their top. The bezel is minimalist, and as you can see, it's a very shallow conical profile, framing a box section sapphire that's designed to evoke a vintage plexiglass. We have pump-style pushers and a Zenith star inset on the crown. Also note the attention to detail. Zenith gives you a little kerf to dig in your fingernail underneath the crown to withdraw it for setting the watch. The timepiece features a dial of satin silver. It's a silver sunburst, and there are several concentrically layered tracks, starting with the tachymeter outboard. You can use the tachymeter in conjunction with a known distance, such as a kilometer or a mile, and the chronograph seconds hand. Use those factors to gather the speed of, for example, a race car over a kilometer or a mile. Now you can see the Zenith star logo as the counterweight to the red varnished seconds hand. You have a black metallic track and overlaid cantilevered applique rhodium-plated steel hour indices. The dial is loomed. We will take a look at that. You can see there are countersunk registers for chronograph minutes and chronograph hours. But all of the excitement starts at about 9 o'clock and runs up to almost 12, as we have an open escapement. This is the caliber 4061, a project initiated by former Zenith head honcho Terry Nataf during the 2000s. Opening up the dial and showing the escapement was his idea of bringing the inside of the watch out without having to remove it to admire a case back. There's a lot going on here. First, the 4061 features a skeletonized base plate, so you can see, for example, the fourth wheel of the drivetrain, the escape wheel, the anchor, and the balance with its hairspring. You can see there's an extended pinion off the fourth wheel that drives a tri-spoke that acts as the constantly revolving seconds indication for the dial. And then there's a full silicone escapement. Note that the Zenith star is inset in the escape wheel. This operates unlubricated. It improves timekeeping, slightly improves power reserve, and it also extends the performance of the watch in between services. So there's a lot to be liked about that unlubricated, low-friction silicone escapement. The watch, of course, beats away at 36,000 vibrations per hour. That is the signature of the El Primero. In 1969, it became the first high-beat integrated automatic chronograph caliber, and that 10 beats per second, 36,000 vibrations per hour is one of the reasons this chronograph seconds hand sweeps smoother than most conventional chronos that operate at 28.8 or 21.6. You can see there's engine turning on what remains of the base plate, so that not only is it a dynamic dial, but it is a handsome one. Turn the watch over, you can see caliber 4061 pivots on 31 joules. It beats away at 5 hertz. It is a column wheel lateral clutch chronograph and a bidirectional automatic winder. Just about the only refinement it doesn't have is hacking seconds. But you can see that there is a column wheel in blue. You can see the lateral clutch operating adjacent. You can also see The recentering hammers falling on the heart cams at the center of the chronograph. The El Primero is a good-looking, large and open automatic chronograph. Not all automatic chronographs are this good-looking. You can see this one also carries another feather in its cap. It is a COSC certified Swiss chronometer pivoting on its 31 joules, which means, among other tests performed over 2 weeks, this movement has attained a regular rate of no worse than -4 seconds plus 6 seconds per 24 hours. You'll also appreciate automatic winding, loomed and 100 meters water resistant. Put it on a water resistant strap, and this timepiece is swimmable. The finish of the movement is handsome. You can see that the column wheel has been blued. The watch features both black polished and blued screws. They perform different functions. One holds components in place, the other is used for tuning of the movement. There's Côte de Genève across the rotor itself, and then you can also see that there's engine turning on the bridges. There's satin finish on the steel components of the chronograph. Overall, just a good-looking movement, nicely executed, primarily in mechanical fashion, but handsomely done with a fundamentally gorgeous architecture. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. And we're back with the Zenith Chronomaster Open.